have gone by, we've seen more and more home runs, and that's kind of become the trend, is the 3 true outcomes of just walks, strikeouts, and home runs. Do you guys think that's good for the game per se? Because for me, I think what's good for the game is more action on the field. It's, balls in the gap, plays at second base, awesome like diving catches. It's like action on the field. So do you guys think like the 3 true outcomes is a good thing for baseball, and you think that's where the sport is headed? Or do you think we're going to get back to a point where we're going to see those, singles hitters, like those specialty hitters that we once saw, and like more stolen bases, more small ball and stuff like that?
Double steals and a lot of hit and run. You're going to see the hit and run into play and those things. And so I think that will come back in the fashion. I think if you can, I don't think the days of having a light infielder, a 245 hitter with good defense is going to be a thing. I think you're going to still have to hit, and still going to have to hit with power. And so that won't go away, but you're going to see the fundamentals come back a little bit. Good old fashioned baseball to a certain extent.
Don't think that the 3 true outcomes is the most aesthetically pleasing form of baseball by any means. And I, to a certain extent, it's a bummer. It is. I do think it's the most effective way. Like, it's a little bit like in the NBA where everything's a 3-pointer or a layup or a dunk now. Those are your most efficient. They've kind of made the most efficient game possible. But I think that is an outgrowth of how good the pitching and defense is now. I think and to a certain extent, I'm not sure if there's anything you can do about it, because when you've got starting pitchers who are sitting at 98 miles an hour for 7 innings and have ungodly breaking balls, and they can go into a lab and fix everything in 30 minutes with high-speed cameras, it's just really hard to string together hits. Now, we may see this may help a little bit with the bigger bases, banning the shift. We may see a little bit more balanced gameplay. And personally, I would just like to see more varied gameplay. So not 100%, small ball, stealing bases here and there. I would like a mix. I'd like teams to be built that way. I'd like teams to be built maybe for just a bunch of guys who hit for average. And we saw, like last year, that the Guardians built their team basically. They're not a 3 true outcome team. They were basically a walk and put the ball in play team. They didn't strike out a ton. They didn't hit for any power. So we're seeing a little bit of that. But yeah, I would like more diverse play styles around baseball, but it's tough to do that when you've got such great pitching. So I don't know, but
strikeouts keep going up every year too.
Yeah,
strikeouts keep going up and singles keep going down.
Yeah,
there's never been fewer singles being hit in baseball than the last 5 years in any 5-year stretch, and that's partly the shift, and a lot of it's velocity, leading to a lot of the strikeouts. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, no, I mean, and then there's a lot of, you'll hear some old school people say, like, yeah, what happened to shortening up and just poking the ball the other way? And that's fine. There are certainly guys who can do that. The problem is, if you do that and the pitcher then strikes out the next 2 batters, what's the point? Like, getting on base is great. That's what you want to do. But these guys are going up there to try to score runs any way they can. And so if that means swinging for the fences instead of swinging for right field, that's what they do. But yeah, I mean, make no mistake, that's why baseball is putting all these rule changes in. They want more action in the game. They feel like it's become way too boring for the casual fan.
I'm hopeful that, altering what they're able to do with the shift is enough to get the single back into the game a little bit, okay? And get that runner moving and get more runners moving that way. I think that the bigger bases should help with a few more infield singles, more stolen bases. Everything's leading towards stolen bases with what the pitcher can and can't do. But, it's not going to go back to where we were in the 80s. You got to remember where in the 80s, everybody was playing on the hard artificial turf. So a lot of people are just bouncing the ball off the plate and running like hell to first base, right? And they had big ballparks in St. Louis and Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. So
Montreal.
Montreal. You weren't going to play for the deep ball, okay? So all those stadiums are gone now, and a lot of the stadiums we have tend to be a little smaller than they used to be, right? So I don't think you're going to see a complete reversion to what we saw back in the 70s and 80s. But I think having a nice sprinkling of it, a little bit more action on the base paths should be a better game to watch. And it'll be, if nothing else, it gives us a lot to monitor this year, and see exactly what our feelings are in year one.